my clothes.
Okay.
So it's Saturday. We're going to go see Black Panther today. This is my husband. You want to say hello, husband?
Mr. Green.
I want to put all our business out there. So I thought it would be fun because normally you guys see me when I'm headed to work. So, and if you can't tell, yes, I finally got my thingamajiggy to keep my camera stable while I'm driving. So we're going to test this out to see how well it keeps my phone in place. But I thought it would be nice to get my husband's opinion on some marriage topics while he's in the car, so he doesn't have anywhere to go. He doesn't have anywhere to go or run to, so he'll have to answer some questions. My first question, my love, is if you could describe marriage in one word, what would it be?
I would say it's an experience. Everybody, in my opinion, if they have a loved one that they see their life, them spending their life with, they should try it. I think they should try it. I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning from my wife, so I think it's a good experience. And I think everybody should at least try it.
Everyone should at least try it. So you feel like marriage is for everybody?
I'm not saying marriage is for everybody, because obviously there's a lot of people that's not married and don't want to be married, but like they say, you can't knock it till you try it.
Right. You also can't kill us in the process, honey.
Got your seatbelt on?
I sure do. Prayer too. Okay. So what made you decide to get married?
I liked you.
You liked me?
I just felt like, it was that time. I know I want to spend my life with you. I wasn't doubting if I wanted to be with you still. I just really, really, really was in love with you, and still am, obviously. And it just seemed like that was just the next natural step for us. We've been staying together for a long time, living together, and it finally was just the right moment.
Okay. I have not gone into the whole story about why we decided to move in with each other while we were dating. We moved in with each other while we were dating due to circumstances. Both of our parents are Christians, and both of our parents had individual conversations with us about shacking up. But we have been together for a year, and we both were at a place in our lives where things were shifting for us. I had gotten laid off of my job, and he owned his own business, but he had other aspirations. He wanted to go to school, and he had other dreams at that time. And so he decided to leave the business to better himself so that he could be more prepared for the business, or any business for that matter. And so he got a job down here in Savannah. And we're both from Atlanta, born and raised in Atlanta. And I did not want to have a long distance relationship. I did not. I'm just not a long distance relationship type of woman. So, of course we had to have that conversation, like, okay, what are we going to do? And what were your thoughts about it?
I think my thoughts were
the whole situation with us.
Yeah, long distance.
Yeah,
it's if we could prevent that, I wanted to prevent that. I didn't necessarily want to do long term. I know that it's already hard enough for some people to find jobs, you know, depending on what field you're trying to do. So that was something we had to consider. So, you know, moving also was a good thing, because I think, you know, when you move away from everything that you're used to, you force yourself to get on track. You force yourself to venture out into new things. So I think moving was a good thing. I know my wife loves Atlanta. I love Atlanta too, but I think that moving, you know, away for a while was a good thing. But because for me, I've traveled before, but I've never just stayed away from Atlanta this long. So I think it was a good thing. I'm just glad that, you know, you were able to come, you know, with me, because I know that was something that you necessarily didn't like, having a distance, as you said.
No, I didn't want long distance. So fast forward to moving in with each other. It was our first time ever living with someone that we were dating. It was his first time living away from home, period. You know, I had been on my own before, but I had never lived with a man, you know, let alone someone that I was dating. So it was scary for both of us. And when I tell you, the day that we were trying to move, oh my God, we were both, I think all of the tension and everything that we were feeling towards each other was really just misplaced stress. And for me, I can speak for him, but for me, I was scared, because I'm like, I'm moving away from my mother. It's a 3.5-hour drive. I don't know anybody in Savannah. I don't know my way around. I don't know what's going to happen once we get there. We're not married, you know, and of course, as a woman, you're like, you know, I'm following behind him, but, you know, is this going to work? You know, how long am I going to be down here? You know, it's just a whole lot of different questions and aspects of this whole moving situation that ran through my mind. And so it was very, very scary for us. Well, for me, it was scary for me. I don't know if it was scary for him, but it was scary for me. And so once we moved in with each other, then we had to go through the whole process of really learning somebody. They say you really get to know somebody when you live with them. And I don't think that was difficult, you know. We did learn each other in terms of, you know, is this a messy person? Is this a clean person? You know, is this someone who's, you know, gonna wash the dishes, gonna sweep the floors, gonna vacuum? Are you going to be home? Are you the kind of person that, you know, needs your space when you come home, or do you like to talk right away? Are you, you know, a lot of stuff that you don't find out about a person when you're dating them and you don't live with them, you find out when you start living with them. So how did you feel about that whole experience, like the first 6 months of us living together? Like, what was your thought process like, and what about your experiences?
I think for me, it was an interesting time. Like I said, it was the first time moving out, period. And it wasn't that I couldn't have moved out before. I was just trying to make sure I had everything together, you know. And so it was interesting. I know, like I said, that moving day was frustrating, you know. There's a lot of stuff to move, you know. We didn't have a whole lot, obviously, because we were just now moving into a space. But just the whole moving process was a little frustrating. It was a good time too, because, you know, it felt like it's progress. Anytime you're progressing in life, it's a good feeling. But at the same time, you know, at the time, she didn't know. She used to joke with me all the time, you know, I don't want to be a forever girlfriend.
No forever girlfriend.
She didn't know I wanted to. She didn't know I was gonna propose. Obviously, you know, I'm not gonna be quite honest with you. If I'm not seriously thinking that, I'm not gonna move in with somebody, because I'm not saying it's a waste of time to live with your girlfriend, but, you know, you gotta think long term. And, you know, you live with your girlfriend for so long, and then y'all just decide, you know, or you decide I don't want to get married, and, you know, that's just a real messy situation, especially when you're staying together. But I thought about all that before we moved in, you know, or decided to. And it was a good experience. Like I said, the day was a little stressful. Like I say big thanks to my brother, because we stayed. We had to go up a flight of steps, and that was not the easiest thing, especially with them big old couches.
That was the second move.
The second move, yes, but still, just moving period. I'm just talking about moving period.
Yeah.
Again, progression. Because we had more stuff the second time we moved, but you know, it was a good feeling for me.
So for anyone that's considering moving with your significant other, it worked for us. It worked in our favor for the most part, but I would not base your decision on if you should move in with your significant other or not based on what we're telling you right now. I think you should pray about it, and you and your boyfriend or you and your girlfriend, you all need to have serious conversations. I wouldn't go into it blindly. Like I said, he and I had never lived with someone we were dating before. And so, of course, there are some things you're just going to have to experience regardless of how many conversations you've had with them. You're still going to just have to experience it for yourself. But it worked for us. And we lived together for 3 years, a little bit more than 3 years before we actually got married. So for us, we didn't have to deal with getting married and then moving in with each other because we were already living together. So when we got back home, it was like, now it's official. We're married. We're Mr. and Mrs. now. But we didn't have to go through the whole, now I really got to see this other side of you, because we kind of got that out the way already when we were dating. So that is to me, that's one of the positives. That's one of the advantages of living with someone that you're dating. And like my husband said, he saw the potential in me and really took this relationship serious. Like, this could be the woman that I marry, so I'm willing to move in with her, to take that next step. For me, it was the same way. You're not gonna move in with someone if you don't see a future with them. If you don't see a future with the person that you're dating, don't make that move. If you know in your heart of hearts that y'all just not meant to be together, and you don't see that person with you for the long haul, don't do it. Save yourself the drama and the stress and everything else, because moving in with your significant other is a relationship tester. It will test you to see if you're really in it or not, because you got to come home to this person when you're upset. If y'all had a fight, you got to come home to each other. If there are things wrong with your relationship, you can't run from it because y'all live together. And so it really tests, the bonds that y'all really have. If it's superficial, if you're in it because, oh, he's fine, if you're in it because, oh, she can do this and that for me, if you're in it because, oh, he can pay the bills, you in it for the wrong reason. And it's going to show up in your relationship, and it is going to break y'all down. I'm trying to tell you. What do you say about that?
It's going to save you a lot of money in the end. Yeah, that's just straight up the truth. Everybody go through, and we be sitting there lying and you saying we haven't gone through stuff too. So, just because you go through stuff too, I will say that don't be so quick to quit, because some people, I can't stand you. I can't stand you. Fine, okay, we over it. It's done. And now you got to pay to get your stuff moved. You got to pay for storage, store your stuff. If you don't have nowhere to go right away, it's just a big mess. So
yeah.
Take your time. I say it for both ends. Girls, if you got a guy, let's just be straight honest. You don't want to work. You gotta be expecting to pay them bills by yourself. I mean, it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, unless you're getting it some kind of other way, which ain't legal, that's the only way I can see him coming up with that money. Right. And I mean, guys, same way. You got to think about, what do you want as a woman? Are you ready to have a woman in your space? Are you ready to be able to, not have that bachelor pad anymore? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, everything you like, she not gonna like, and I promise you, everything she like, you not gonna like. So.
What you trying to say? You don't like what I like?
Like I say, everything that you like, she not gonna like.
It's a compromise. It is a compromise.
Yeah.
It is a compromise. And you have to be willing to compromise. You do.
make sure you speak your mind. Don't hold it in, because once that change has been made and your whole house is pink and purple, you know, and you kept saying, yeah, babe, just because you didn't want to deal with an argument, you know, it's going to come back to bite you later. So make sure you always speak your mind.
So let's talk about that. So let's talk about communication. That's something that, honestly, my husband and I are working on. You should always be in a space to be able to grow and progress and make improvements on yourself, for yourself, and for your significant other. And so, you know, we love each other very much, but my communication is different from the way he communicates, and vice versa. So you all got to figure out how you communicate with one another. Well, first of all, before I go in about communication, what do you think about communication? Like, if you were to give advice to someone who's having communication issues, what would you say?
It's all about when you say it. It's all about the timing. When you all are arguing, I've heard this before. You know, ain't nobody listening. And I think my wife probably said it. When y'all arguing, that's not the best time to have a conversation about everything, because basically at that time we just yelling just to yell. Ain't nobody taking nothing in. We just let it go in one ear and out the other ear. At the same time, if it's something on your mind, if you really feel a certain way, it's best that you put it out, because if you don't say nothing, how am I supposed to know? That's something I heard my wife say before, so, which is true. You know, if a person holds all this stuff in, how are you supposed to, how do you expect them to know about it and deal with it? And at the same time, like I said, it's all about how you come with it. You know, if you're mad at the time and you want to talk about something, it's probably not the best time to talk about it, because it's going to be an argument. It's probably best to, you know, calm yourself down, think about what you're going to say before you say it, and then, you know, approach your significant other, because, you know, it's all about less confrontation. Nobody wants to spend their whole life or their whole day, rather even an hour or a minute arguing about anything if possible. I know I do.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for me, I've heard my husband tell me that, you know, it's not so much of what I'm saying as how I'm saying it. And it's very true. It does make a difference. For me, I had to learn how to be softer in my approach. My husband didn't marry a man. And, you know, in terms of my attitude and my demeanor and the way that I'm strong and opinionated, you know, and dominating, because I was raised in a single parent household. My mother was the breadwinner. My mother made the decisions. My mother was strong. My mother was opinionated, and my mother told me, go out in the world, make something of your life. Don't depend on anybody. Do it for yourself, because no one is going to do it for you. Don't depend on no man to do it for you. You got to go do it for yourself. And so that was the mentality that I had, but it does not work. And it definitely does not work in a marriage. And it really took a good shaking of me to be like, not that he shook me or nothing, but I'm just saying, God had to touch my heart and open my mind and open my eyes and my heart to receive my husband and saying to me, I am the man in this relationship. You know, you need to respect me as your man. I didn't marry a dude, and sometimes the way I was coming at him, it was very aggressive and very rah, 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 you know, ready to square up kind of situation. Like, no, you know, you're my woman, you're my wife. You know, respect me as your husband. And so instead of me going, honey, why you take out this trash? You know that this trash need to be taken out. You need to do it. Da 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 da. It's, you know what? My husband didn't get a chance to take out the trash. I'm just gonna take it out of here and I'm gonna sit it here, and I know he'll get it. Some stuff I don't even have to say. You know what I mean? Or if I felt the need to say it, it'll be, honey, would you mind taking out the trash, because, you know, it's stinking up the house and I just don't want the house to be stinking. You mind taking it out on your way to work? See, it's a difference. I'm still saying, can you take out the trash? But I'm not demanding. I'm not commanding. I'm not, being confrontational about it. I'm not down his back about it. It's a way about doing that. But I used to be very confrontational and very aggressive in my approach, and it didn't work when we were dating, but I didn't care. And I'm not saying I didn't care, like I just didn't care, but it was like I wasn't hearing him. I didn't hear him. You know what I mean? But he had to tell me once we got married, that this was something he just could not deal with, and I took it to mean like, we have the rest of our lives to be with each other, and he is telling me this is what's wrong and this is what I need. So I had to listen to him, and not just listen and not just talk back, but I had to take it in and say, okay, that's something I need to work on, and I was willing to work on it, and it seems to have helped. So communication is a huge factor in your relationship, because it's not just everyone thinks communication is just about the talking. Communication is also about listening. If everyone's talking just to be heard, it gets us nowhere. But if you're talking and you're listening to understand the other person, and the other person is listening so that you can be understood, then that's effective communication. And that's something that, we're not perfect at it, but we're getting there. We recognize one of the weaknesses in our relationship, and we're doing something about it. If you recognize that you have a weakness in your relationship, be willing to admit it. Be willing to work on it, resolve it, find solutions. And if that resolution that y'all have come to doesn't work, try something else. Because the first solution may not always work. And another thing that I think we both learned is that you got to start working on yourself first. If you're always the one that's pointing out somebody else's flaws, it's not going to work. But if you start working on you, the other person's going to start seeing that you're working on you, and that you're trying to do better for you, and thus doing better for the relationship. It's going to make them go, oh, maybe it's something I need to work on too. Let me work on this. So communication is a huge factor too. So any last words, because we're pulling up to the theater, and any last words, dear?
I mean, just take it one day at a time. Don't be afraid to speak your mind to your significant other, but at the same time, learn to respect your significant other. Not saying that you don't respect the one you're with, but learn what they like and they don't like. Sometimes we all know what'll make our significant other mad. We all know what buttons to push, but try not to push those buttons even when you're mad. It's because it makes your relationship stronger. As a guy, put your pride down a little bit, just a little bit. Listen to what your wife has to say sometimes. I mean, it's not belittling to listen to your wife and understand where she's coming from, because a lot of things, it's not a lot. It's not hard, to have a successful, happy marriage. So just be patient.
Keep God first.
Keep God first, and actually care.
And show that you care.
Exactly.
Because sometimes, you can care, but your action doesn't say that you do.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you gotta show it too. So we're gonna leave you with that, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.